Hi, this is Rich from BoatProject. This video is going to go over pulling fuel injectors out of a Universal 25 diesel engine. It's the engine I have on my O'Day 35 sailboat. And I would just want to say, I am not a motor guy at all. In fact, I'm very intimidated by motors, etc. So I called my mechanic to come over and pull them and show me how it's done, and he was awesome in that he was really patient and went over everything, and certainly very professional and very, very knowledgeable. I'm also not a YouTube guy, so you're not going to see the most polished video. It's really just kind of a down and dirty. And then the last disclaimer is I have no video of me putting the injectors back in. I will tell you though, it was so simple. It was ridiculous. So I'm a little bit less intimidated by the motor now, thanks to Nick coming out and showing me how to replace the fuel injectors, and on top of that also how to bleed the fuel injectors. So if you get air in your system, it's always a good thing. A buddy of mine, when I was trying to start an engine on a different boat, basically was telling me that if you just bleed from the fuel injectors, you can skip a lot of the other stuff to bleed engines. I don't know how true that is, but on the Perkins engine that we did it on, it certainly worked. So it's also a good thing to know how to do. So I hope you enjoy the video. And again, I apologize. I'm not a motor guy, but I'm much more comfortable after going through this. And it was way simpler than I had thought it to be. So thanks and enjoy.
So first we're just taking off all the top nuts, and then I assume the nuts.
Yeah, we'll take the ones off the injection pump here.
This is the beginning of your YouTube celebrity
Career.
there, yeah. That's interesting. So you got to kind of loosen it from the front and then twist it out of the way to get to the back.
They're just on rubber bushing, so you can kind of just articulate it out of the way.
And hold it.
Take the nuts off. Turn
Those are the ones that we had originally cranked down on, right?
Yep.
Zoom in a bit. All right. Tight down after the one.
Broke the line.
What's that?
I said it broke the return line. It's so tight. source another one. When you put it back together,
Yeah.
tighten it by hand and like half, 3/4 of a turn tight. Should be good.
Okay.
The whole injector's going to come out with this.
Because it's too tight.
Yeah.
Do you have to remember the order or anything, or?
We can write it down, or if you want to put them in Ziploc bags, then you can know 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter going back together because they're all going to be fresh and rebuilt. But just so if there is an issue with one of the cylinders, you at least know
Which one it was?
Yeah.
So thanks to Nick, who came out and removed my fuel injectors. He also told me where to take them so that I can get them rebuilt. As it happens, I needed new fuel injectors. The price per fuel injector was actually relatively inexpensive when you come to boat costs. It was $84 a pop, and I got 3 brand new fuel injectors. The next part of this video will go over reinstalling the injectors. Basically, Nick said it's easy enough to reinstall. You just kind of reverse what we did. He gave me some pointers and then how to start the engine. He gave me tips on how to bleed the fuel injectors because there'll be air in the lines and we'll need to get the air out so the engine will start. So let's get back to Nick.
All right, so to bleed it, I'm just recording this. To bleed it, we start aft,
Yep.
top nut, loosen it, crank the engine until it starts squirting
Fuel.
fuel,
And then
tighten it
tighten
up,
it back
and
down.
then do it to the next one.
Next one and the next one.
Gotcha. Now when you say crank it, you just mean up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like I'm trying to turn the flywheel or anything like that.
Yeah. And then it's a good idea to shut the seacock just so you're not filling the exhaust with seawater and not having enough pressure to push it out when it's running.
Okay, good to know. So,
Excessive cranking of the engine, always shut the seacock.
gotcha.
So to finish up this project, I took the fuel injectors to Diesel's fuel injection services in Bow, New Hampshire, and they were awesome. They checked them out. They said they were shot and needed new ones. They gave me new ones. They even threw in some hose to connect each injector together because it was all flexible. The ones I got didn't have any of that hard piping between it, which is probably for the better. And I basically just spun them on, reattached the lines from the fuel injection pump to the top of the fuel injector. I shut the seacock, had my buddy crank the engine, and bled the injectors. And I only had to do the aft one, and the thing started right up. I didn't even have to do the middle of the forward injector to bleed it. Engine's running great, starts great. So I cracked that last injector, got some fuel out, cranked it down. The engine was running. I reached down, opened up the seacock for the water intake, and worked great. The only issue I had was I had a little bit of misting from my mid-cylinder, and I just had to crank down a little bit, actually on the housing itself. It wasn't that nut that you normally crank down the second from the top when you have a leak. This was I just didn't get enough turn on the housing itself. So it was the bottom that I tightened up. Once I did that, dry as a bone, no leaks, runs great. So thank you, Nick, for showing me that, taking the time to explain everything to me and make the engine a little bit less scary, because I'm not an engine guy, but it was very successful after seeing how it was done, and now I've got no worries at all about having to crack a fuel injector to bleed it or even replacing them. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or a comment in the blog that links to this video. Thanks. Take care.